fellow pioneers of human transportation. You're watching the Electric Scooter Academy. I'm Yogi Steve. I've had a lot of different jobs in my life. I'm an ex-martial arts instructor. I'm an ex-yoga teacher. I even had my own small business as a kid. I had my own baseball card store when I was 14 years old in Marlboro, New Jersey. But now I'm a full-time delivery guy on a scooter and YouTuber. Thanks for checking out the channel. Please throw me a subscription. Click the like button, that helps the algorithm, and leave me nice comments. Ask me questions and I'll always talk back. I appreciate your support.
What is happening, fellow pioneers of human transportation? I'm Yogi Steve. This is ESA, the Electric Scooter Academy. I make videos about high-powered scooters. This is going to be my 5,000-mile review of my Dualtron Ultra V2. Don't confuse it with the Dualtron Ultra 2, the 72-volt line. This is the last of the 60-volt line, the Dualtron Ultra, my V2. Just hit 5,000 miles. The scooter is doing unbelievably well. Of course, at this stage, the battery is starting to show some decreases in performance. So the torque and the acceleration, I would say, is maybe down 5 or 10%. Still extremely fast. I think my top speed might be down a little bit, although I don't generally push it to top speed. I know for sure it can still reach 45 though, for sure. I did get it up to 50 miles per hour before. I haven't tested it. Maybe I'll test it. It's not important. It does at least 45 miles an hour still. And there's probably a small loss in range, whereas maybe when the battery was newer, I could get 40 miles out of a full shift between 25 and 40 miles per hour. And now I'm getting closer to 35, 36 miles for the same typical length. The brakes are doing really well. I just had to replace the pads in a typical fashion. Right now, I would say I replace my pads between every 800 and 1,000 miles. So this scooter is probably on its 4th or 5th set of brakes lifetime. I did bleed the brakes one time on this so far at about the 4,000 mile mark. That made a big difference. The levers were starting to get soft, so I bled the brakes. Made a big difference, made them perform like they are brand new. One small problem though, the brake levers, they tend to fade in and out just depending on whatever, I'm not sure what. So every once in a while I have to take the smallest, the tiniest Allen wrench screw, put it into the little exposed screw on the side, and move the levers. So you understand the levers, for whatever reason, they're not really holding their exact perfect position well. Every once in a while I have to adjust it. It's really no big deal. You just have to pay attention to it. The main danger of that is if the levers get too close, you'll activate your stop motor button and you'll think there's something wrong with your scooter when really just your levers are too close to the handles. So keep an eye on that as your brakes age. Tires are doing well. I'm not a huge fan of tube tires at this point now that I've experienced tubeless tires on the Storm, but if you manage your tube tires well, they last a really long time. So at 5,000 miles, I'm probably at my 3rd full set of tires. Each of my tires usually lasts about 2,000 to 3,000 miles, and a set is 2 tires. So I'm probably on my 5th or 6th tire for the scooters, and I alternate between using off-road tires and road tires. There's really not that much of a difference to me. I sort of like the off-road tires. I kind of like the cool sound that they make. The frame is really strong, no problems with that. The swing arms are strong, no problems with that. The deck still has all the original screws. As my other Ultra got really old, the deck screws started kind of falling out, getting loose. I had to replace them. But on this Ultra V2, the deck screws are all in their original state. They're all holding fine. One of the side plastic covers where you put the port in to charge the scooter fell off. What are those caps are called? Those rubber caps always fall off, though. There's no big deal. Especially here in LA where the weather is dry. I'm not really worried about getting water anywhere in the scooter. I don't drive it when it's wet out. Most important to note is the hinge is now at 5,000 miles age, correct? So you're really supposed to start thinking about at least replacing the small screws around the hinge, if not the hinge itself at 4,000 miles. So I really need to open up the hinge fully, look at it, make sure the screws are strong, which I know they're not because it's creaking like freaking crazy. So yeah, the stem does creak if not properly maintained and just needs to be lubed every 300 or 400 miles. I almost never do it, so you can hear in a lot of my videos the stem making a lot of noise, but it's no big deal. The stem is 100% sound. The stem bolt is in tight. The grub screw is still in there. All the small screws, I can tell they're starting to age, so I will probably at least replace the small pieces, if not the entire hinge, relatively soon. It just needs to be done at 4,000 miles. All the buttons on the handlebars are good. The hazard lights and the single and dual motor buttons are good. Those buttons often fall off on the previous generation, but they put a new, stronger rubber coating on there, and that's holding up really well. The i3 throttle controller looks amazing. On my old Ultra, the buttons started falling off the throttle controller, but at 5,000 miles, the i3 controller is basically perfect, almost like brand new condition. Overall, I'm in love with this scooter. You will not be able to buy this scooter very soon. I have it from high up, from the gods of the electric scooter world. I'm not going to tell you who told me this, but I promise you, the Dualtron Thunder and the Dualtron Ultra, the 60-volt first-generation models, they're going to be discontinued. They're going to stop making them at the factory in China. You're not going to be able to buy them anymore. I think if you wanted to get one of your best deals right now, you can still buy a 60-volt Ultra for $3,100. Better yet, buy a Thunder for $3,500. So I'm still just in love with this scooter. I'm using it 2 or 3 days a week for work. I'm still racking up the mileage. My next review is going to be of the Dualtron Storm. It's about to reach 1,500 miles. I'm absolutely in love with that scooter as well. Guys, I'm Yogi Steve. You're watching ESA, the Electric Scooter Academy. Please subscribe to the channel. Help me out. Throw the video a like. Leave me a comment down below and join my Patreon. I'll have the information for the Patreon in the description down below. I appreciate your support very much. I'll see y'all next time.